Okay, so let's take a look at an example where we calculate the curl and divergence of this vector field. So let's label the components P, Q, and R. So first we calculate the curl. So the curl of a vector field, again, can be thought of as the del operator cross product with the vector field. And so we set up the 3x3 determinant. So on the bottom row, it should be the three components P, Q, and R. So let's write that down first so that I have enough space to work with. Right, so you have x squared y, then 3x minus yz, then z cubed, right? So again, these are the three components, P, Q, and R. The second row should be the derivative operators. So the partial with respect to x, the partial with respect to y, and then the partial with respect to z. And then at the top are the three components, j, I, j, and k, the unit vectors. Okay, so now we, actually, let me go all the way on the left-hand side to make sure I have enough space. Right, so now we calculate the determinant, right? So the first entry here should be this 2x2 determinant. So the partial with respect to y of z cubed. So here z cubed is thought of as just a constant, so the derivative constant is 0. So that's 0. And then the partial of this thing with respect to z. So this is again thought of as a constant, so that goes away. And then here the coefficient of z is minus y. So you have minus y. And then here I have an extra minus sign. And then the partial with respect to x of z cubed, again, you just think of this as a constant, so that's 0. And then minus the partial with respect to z of this thing. This doesn't depend on z, so you just think of it as a constant. So again, the derivative is 0. And then finally, the last component, the partial with respect to x. So here, the coefficient of x is 3. I think of this term as a constant, so that goes away. And then the partial with respect to y. So here is x squared. Okay, so that's what we get. So again, let me label this calculation here so it's clear what I'm calculating, right? So this is P, Q, and R, right? So this is del y applied to R, and then minus del z applied to Q, and then this was, I have the extra minus, then this is del x applied to R minus del z applied to P. And then this last one was del x applied to Q minus del y applied to P. Okay, so that was the calculation. And alright, so let's just simplify this answer, right? So first component is minus y, second component is 0, and the last component is 3 minus x squared. Okay, so that's how we calculate the curl. And then now let's calculate the divergence. So div f can be thought of as del dot f, right? So it's just the partial of p with respect to x plus the partial of q with respect to y plus the partial of r with respect to z. So what is this equal to? So the partial of p with respect to x would be 2xy. The partial of q with respect to y would just be minus z. And then the partial of r with respect to z would be 3z squared. Okay, so I get 2xy minus z plus 3z squared. Okay, so that's the divergence.